episode 539 of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. I'll be talking about tonight's episode of WWE NXT, and also we'll be going over some of the news going on in the world of pro wrestling. All that and more right here, right now, 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Hello, Wrestling Fanatics. Welcome to tonight's episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Lance Brock here. And as I said in that preview at the beginning, we'll be talking about tonight's episode of WWE NXT, which actually was pre-taped episode tonight, and also after the recap of NXT, gonna be going over some of the news, just some of the things going on in the world of pro wrestling. And first though, let's get right into NXT. Like I said, tonight's episode was already taped from the Capitol Wrestling Center at the WWE Performance Center. And we have Noam Dar defeating Chad Gable in actually a pretty entertaining match here to retain the NXT Heritage Cup. And I thought this was a pretty solid match this week, I have to admit. And we have Los Lotharios defeating Idris Enough and Malik Blade. And Josh Briggs defeats Carmelo Hayes in an Iron Survivor Challenge qualifying match. And in another Iron Survivor qualifying match, Blair Davenport defeats Thea Hall. Eddie Thorpe defeated Charlie Dempsey, who had Drew Gulak and Miles Bourne in his corner. And in the main event of this week's NXT, Lyra Valkyria defeated Xia Li to retain the NXT Women's Championship in the main event of NXT this week. And now, before I wrap up this episode of the podcast, just to get into a little bit of news, and that is John Cena has underwent a second surgery, and also Matt Riddle is scheduled for MCW Winter Blast in February. And hopefully everyone tuned in for AEW Full Gear this past weekend, which, like I said, I did the podcast much later than I wanted to. And like I said, because it was so late. And also, Raw last night, surprisingly, I didn't really talk about. So that's why that was no episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic last night. This morning, I just mainly talked about the news of being the Elite being canceled for now, I guess you could say, with the storyline in AEW with the Young Bucks quitting being the Elite. And speaking of storylines in AEW, I saw a report today, according to a source within WWE, about MJF's bidding war of 2024, that apparently that WWE and MJF have not had any talks, and reportedly MJF has already quietly signed a new deal with MJF or AEW that would go to 2027. Now, is this true? Who knows? But I did see a report that said that earlier today. And another thing that I've heard some people say, that they think that Full Gear would have been the time to reveal who the devil is right now. And I have to admit, I do kind of see their point when they kind of say it's been going on a little too long now, and there needs to be at least some kind of reveal here. But to be honest, I didn't really expect the devil to be revealed at Full Gear yet. I just thought that it was a little too soon still. I don't think AEW is ready to reveal yet. And that is about all for this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Thank you everyone for tuning in tonight, and we'll be back tomorrow morning, hopefully, to preview tomorrow's episode of AEW Dynamite on Good Morning Wrestling Fans for the Wednesday episode. And to be honest, with all the Halloween or holiday schedule, like this week has me confused with and mixed up with my days a little bit, and because of the scheduling got mixed around a little bit today. I was thinking today was Wednesday, was expecting to watch Dynamite tonight all day, but of course it was Tuesday for NXT, so tomorrow on the Wednesday episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans, gonna be previewing tomorrow's episode of Dynamite. So hope everyone will be here tomorrow morning, and I will talk to everybody then. But until then, I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.